Good morning, Knicks fans. This is Big Nick Burt, baby, with that Big Nick energy. So, depressing night. Really good game that we couldn't close out. That's all right. First quarter, tragic. Third quarter, magic. So, I'll take that. It's hard to play 48 minutes, and equally hard to do it without, all your pieces. RJ Barrett, Noel, Gibson getting thrown out. Sims is ill too. Got that 80 flu, man. He should have just stayed home. Because I'm pretty sure he played while he was sick, and memory's not so good, but they lost. They lost. You got my boy sick. Now my RJ Barrett can't play because he's sick, and it's because of you, Anthony Davis, calling you out directly. So maybe next time keep it at home because you didn't even get that win. It's not even worth it. It's not worth it. You got to keep everybody healthy. So, that being said, a lot of people are talking about a lot of different things. A lot of different things. The first quarter, I think, is obviously the most glaring issue for the loss. But free throws, boxing out. That's it. That's how you lose basketball games. If you don't hit free throws, if you don't box out, you lose. So that's it. We lost by one possession in a really good team and I'm not even upset about it. I like the Knicks. I still like the Knicks. Somebody said IQ can't play PG. Hey, I need you to reassess your evaluation because IQ can play PG. For sure, he can do it. He can do it on both ends. People are saying that we should trade Randall and just give his minutes to Obi, and I don't even know where that comes from. I would love to see a stat or something that you're leaning on that says that's a good idea because it's not a good idea. I love Obi, but man, I also love Randall. I think having both of them is clutch. Now, last season, did I think we would see a Randall, Obi, Fournier, quickly Rose lineup? I didn't think so. No, no way. I thought that was unviable. I thought it would devastate us on rebounds, which it did, but that's not the point. The point is the fact that you can even put that lineup out at all is significant. And it's significant because the guard defense, and it's significant because of Obi Toppin's improvement. And even though we lost, even though we could have done things different and better, I'm really, really, really enjoying watching IQ and Toppin and Robinson and Sims and Grimes and McBride get better. I like watching all our young guys get better, and I like seeing Randall maintain that level of dominance. So, what's the next step? The next step, I mean, people want trades, people want new rotations, people want this or that, and I don't see it. I like our team. I like where we're at. Obviously, if someone offers me Dame Lillard, I'm gonna take him. If someone offers me LeBron James, I'm gonna take him. But I just don't want to see our team get gutted for a star. A la Melo. Oh man, we can go back for a long time, my whole life basically, and look at all the bad trades we did, getting rid of young guys that we shouldn't have to get old guys that were maybe on the tail end of their careers. So I want to keep everybody. I want to keep everybody. I like them all. I really don't have a least favorite player at this point. I think we all did last year, and I'm not even going to say who. But they're not with the team this year, and this year the team's looking good, I think. The improvement has been really, really nice. Obviously things that need to improve, but at the same time, our guys have shown that they can improve and they are willing to improve and they're putting in that work to get there and I like that. So I like to reward them, and I think it's been clear since Tibbs took over what he's rewarding and who he's going to reward it to because I think it was a quote about quickly that even if he's not shooting well, you can stay in by playing good defense. And to that end, I like that. I like that mentality. It sets a clear goal as a player to say, I don't need to make every single shot. I mean, obviously it's nice, but I can earn my place through defense. And that really, as a player, that motivates you. That gives you something to latch onto because if it's only like, oh, you can't score 30, you're not playing. That's, to me, kind of disheartening because not everybody, like Mitchell Robinson's not that guy. He's never going to be that guy where he's going for 30 a night. And frankly, we don't need him to go for 30 a night, as nice as it would be. But when he's playing good defense, when he's hustling, making the right plays, when he does get the ball, I'm happy. I don't think anybody can be upset with that. I think that the ISO Randall that people are upset about, they need to get over because at the end of the day, if he has a mismatch, that's our best option. It's like you can't just run plays for nothing. And two, if you already have the mismatch, running a play could be a detriment. You're going to get the switch where that you don't want. So I thought, Randall did really well, and he continues to do really well, and I'm not concerned about Randall at all. Same thing for IQ, same thing for Toppin, same thing for RJ, same thing for all of our players. So going forward, what does that mean? That means I'm just excited. I want to fast forward to when Toppin and IQ are in the starting lineup, when Grimes is coming off the bench for us, when Randall has secured another All-Star game. It's that's where I want to be. I can see the vision, I can see where we're going, and I can see the potential we have. So, with all that being said, I don't really humor trade talks right now. I'm not going to humor new rotation ideas. I'm not going to take the slander, the Randall slander that everyone loves, to say Randall is not clutch. Randall does too much ISO. Tibbs is making the wrong calls because at the end of the day, I don't think he is. I think he's making the right calls. And if Randall hit those free throws at the end of the game, you wouldn't be talking about any of these things. Nothing would even be in a conversation. The game would have been much closer, and we could even pulled out a win. So, Julius, get on those free throws. That's all I can say. I mean, he's an NBA player. He's a pro. He probably already put up 100 free throws this morning. So, what do you want from this guy? I think uh, I think he'll take care of what he's got to take care of. I think his defense has gotten a lot better. A lot better. Mitch has got a little messed up. Shout out to Rit Holtzman on Twitter. He always has the good observations on our defensive lapses. And it's Mitchell Robinson leaving Vucevic out there to shoot threes. I'm okay with Vucevic shooting threes because he's not, an above average shooter, but he is an average shooter, and an average shooter shooting 35% from three. And that is troubling, but not the worst thing. I don't know. I mean, Mitch staying in the paint is more valuable to me than covering Vucevic at the three. And the only reason I say that, before you skin me, before you crucify me for that, Mitch staying in the paint is what gets us rebounds. Mitch staying in the paint is what gets us blocks and contests at the rim. Without him in the paint, Randall can't be expected to rotate. Fournier can't be expected to rotate. So that's it. I mean, so Mitch staying home in the paint and not getting on a Vucevic is kind of a testament to how porous Randall and Fournier are on the blocks. But that's all right because we have Mitch there. So 3-point shooting centers are always going to be a problem for any team, and us included. So going forward, I mean, should he have known his assignment? I think he clearly did, and I'm sure Tibbs told him let him shoot because Vucevic shooting a three is way less risk for us than Lonzo Ball or Caruso or DeMar getting a layup. Speaking of DeMar, all the praise to that man. He's good. He's good. Uh, I wish we had him on our team. Him and Caruso. I'll take both, please. Thanks. Uh, they're good. The defense, I think 3 times, either Caruso or Ball came over and popped the ball out of the poster's hand, which was either Randall or Robinson. And that's three turnovers right there, and that's a beautiful thing. That's what you want your guards to do. Oh, my dog is bugging. Check, check, check. But ah, sorry, I had to pause. My dog was barking. Uh, DeRozan, phenomenal player, phenomenal. I couldn't believe we could all see the move that he was trying to do pretty much every time he got the ball, and it was mostly just a little spin move, create a little bit of distance, fade away a little bit, money. So I think it's just a testament to how good DeRozan is to say we all know what he's trying to do and we can all see where he wants to be. I mean, he walks there. He's like, that spot right there, foul line elbow, foul line extended, please. I'll be there all night. So we all know where he wants to go, and we all know how he's going to get there, and can't stop him anyway. So same thing with Randall. So these players are just that next level, and it was really impressive to watch him work last night. And that is all the praise I will give to the Chicago Bulls because otherwise they should have had that in the bag. How did we even come back? Yeah, I don't even know how they let us come back. That Lonzo Ball, I love the Lonzo Ball missed corner threes, one after another. Especially the one he dribbled. He took one power dribble. He's like, oh, I'm gonna ace this. He had all the time in the world. Took the power dribble, went up and clanked it. I couldn't believe. I was like, you should have just shot it. You should have just shot it in motion. But instead he missed three in a row. I think maybe even four. Pretty bad. So otherwise though, good defender. Always pushing the ball up. Always a deadly player. So that being said, I like IQ, man. Those three pointers from IQ really changes the tide of the game when you have somebody who can just pull up like that, fearless. He had Vujovic on him, and he's like, "Should I attack the paint? There's enough daylight. Bang bang." So I think if we keep going that way, if we keep this progression, we'll be slaughtering those teams in no time. So pretty hopeful. Got a lot of confidence in our team. And I got a lot of confidence in their work ethic, and that's the thing between this year and years prior is you didn't always expect the Knicks to practice well. You never really always expected them to look at the footage and really make the improvements. It was almost like they just do the same things over and over and over again. And it's like how can you watch this? How can you support this team when I seem to care about making free throws more than they do? So that's all changed now. I think the Knicks have shown that that culture everybody's talking about, is changed. And it's changed to the point where Tibbs is rewarding hard work, rewarding effort, rewarding defense, and then giving you a clear role on offense. I thought it was very interesting last night. I thought it was very interesting last night when Randall and IQ were kind of chopping it up, talking about I can only assume the passes that need to be made on the offense. And then you kind of got the manifestation of that when the defense broke down and quickly had both Mitch and Randall under the basket to pass to, and he chose Randall. And then I could see almost his mental hesitation, like there's Robinson for the alley oop, and then he's like, no, 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 Randall's there too. So I think that's just the improvement, the gelling, the what what is expected from your star player from your soon to be starting point guard. That's my projection. That's my assumption. That being said, you like to see that in your point guard. Like Clyde always says, it's not always about making for yourself. As a point guard, it's very important to hit the hot hand. It's very important to get your team involved. Because I've been on teams where some guys are real mental, where if they miss a shot, they're going to keep missing because it gets in their head, like gives them a little hitch in their form, whatever. So if you can give them an easy one, wide open to hit, gets them going. But you got to know these things as a point guard. You got to know these things as a teammate of these guys. And I think as IQ and Randall play together, obviously IQ and Toppin, IQ and Robinson, shoot, even Randall and Fournier have a really excellent two-man game where they defer to each other. It's like, yeah, whoever's got the best matchup right now. Fournier, if you got space, take that three. Randall, if you got the bad mismatch, get that post going. So those things are all improving, and that's just basketball IQ. That's just people seeing and recognizing and then being humble enough to either pass it or make the right decision. And sometimes with players, they it's not that they don't see what the right decision is that they trust themselves more than they trust their teammates. And I think we saw that last night that it's pretty clear the trust is there with these guys. I know people are talking about, oh, Fournier and Randall were going at it. They weren't going at it. They weren't going at it. Randall was just saying, you know, something about a missed rotation, something about, oh, over there should have did X, Y. And then Fournier saying, but I had to do Y, Z. And Randall's like, you know what, whatever, cool. And if you've played basketball, you've had a million conversations like that, like, hey, you really let me down on that rotation. And the other guy's like, yeah, I did, but that's because I was doing this other thing that you didn't even know about. And I think we've all been there where we expect the help from somebody, and there's a pretty clear reason why they didn't help you, despite hurting your feelings or despite, being angry about it, whatever. And that's just grown up stuff. That's just something that we all can aspire to on or off the court, right? Open communication, clearly defined roles, and a unified goal to reach at the end of the day. And I think the Knicks have that. So that's why I'm really hesitant to break this team down and start trading people, because once you start trading people, you start to lose trust and you start to hesitate. Now, for instance, if we start slanging people around or putting them on the chopping block or saying, we're going to trade these guys are open, immediately what that does is, in my head, am I going to give up my shot for somebody else? Because now I got to think about my trade value. Now I got to think about my contract, where I'm going. If I end up in Philadelphia, if I end up in Houston, if I end up in Milwaukee or San Francisco, those are all very different things. Those are very different scenarios. And I'm going to start being selfish. I'm going to start taking my own shots for myself and not really worry about the guy next to me. So I think as far as for culture, I think for keeping the team unity intact, keeping these guys happy and working hard and rewarding their hard work, which is what we've been doing, I don't really entertain trades right now. I'm not really interested in it. That's just me, though. Feel free to talk about it. I love seeing the ideas from people. I love the aspirations, the hopes that Knicks fans have 90% of the time. I just don't always like, where their mind ends up. And that's all right. That's on me. I'm just trying to stay positive. I'm just trying to beat this, thing that we call Knicks fandom, because if you've been a fan for anything more than like 4 or 5 years of this team, I think it's really easy to get depressed and just, you know what, they're just gonna, like my pop still says to this day, he's not excited about Toppin or Quickly because he thinks that they're just gonna trade them. He refuses to be excited about the young guys because he thinks they're just gonna trade them. And I think that's sadder than anything. Uh, Even though he may very well be right. He may very well be right, but I refuse to ignore and to stifle my excitement over players for the fear of the front office, because at the end of the day, I loved Chris Duhon. All right, like I liked Chris Duhon when we drafted him. Shumpert, why did we let him go? Because I I had you can write a whole dissertation on failed draft picks, traded assets too soon. Gallinari, where's he at? So we can go back in time and talk about all that. Or, we can just have blind hope for the future, which is what like to have. Blind hope for the future. I see the vision, and that's the key right now is that we have a clear idea of what this team can do and what we want to do. And if hard-nosed defense and fast break offense is part of that, I'm happy. I'm happy. So, despite the loss, everything is going positive, I think, as far as our team is concerned, our construct of our team is concerned, and our cultural identity and who we are. Do we need a second option? Obviously, we need a second option. I want that to be RJ. I want that to be Quickly. I want that to be Toppin. I want that to be Mitch. I want that to be Fournier. I really want this team as it's made to keep getting closer to where we want to be. And I think they have the potential. I think the Bucks had these internal discussions before they won the championship. Can we do it with Chris Middleton? Can we do it with Holiday? Do we need to get rid of Giannis? I mean, as absurd as that is, these are all things that I think their fandom probably struggled with to say, can Giannis survive as the first option? Can Middleton hold it down as a second option? And if you just silence that stuff and let these guys work, they'll show you that, you know what, they'll rise to the occasion. If you put your faith in the right people, they'll rise to the occasion. And I think we have the right people. So I'm just waiting for that rise. I'm watching them, and they're getting better every single game. So that's a lot of positives to take from that. I don't really got a lot of negatives, and that's it for me. Big Nick Burke with the Big Nick Energy. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be doing another little watch party tomorrow for the afternoon game against Denver. And excuse me for not having any highlights up. NBA keeps copyrighting my videos that I'm trying to avoid. So it's just me, just hanging out, ranting about the Knicks. Appreciate you guys stopping by and giving me some love. And see you at the next game. Big Nick Energy, baby. Let's go.